Greetings everyone, Ove Lillas here of Nordic Landscape, founder, photographer and today also composer and musician. Maybe I have raised the bar too high this time, I don't know, you be the judge. But this is what I've done. Some of my photos have their own soundtracks and I haven't done any music for a long time for different reasons. But the Embrace photo screams for a soundtrack of its own. And when inspiration hit me, I got a lot of ideas. The Embrace soundtrack is composed specifically for the Embrace photo. I made the music and I play all the instruments. Some of them are programmed, but I also play guitar, mandolin, recorders, xylophone and some percussion. My ambition is to put the listener in a certain mood that suits the photo and its title. But this time, with this piece of music, I also tried to tell the story about the night when I took the Embrace photo. This one right here. It's an ambitious approach, I know, but let me give you all the clues and then you can go and listen to the music. I worked with a client photo session for a couple of hours before the Aurora appeared. And that is why there's a long intro before the melody comes in. I had to wait for the Aurora, so you will have to wait for the melody. You can hear a low note, like in the beginning, and that represents the sound of a distant cargo ship. I never saw the lights of it, but you know, sound travels very easily over a calm sea surface, so I knew it was out there somewhere. I heard the seagulls making a constant noise from far away, and behind me, coming from the forest, I could hear some swans shouting every now and then. Those birds are represented in the intro too. The seagulls are played on this recorder, and the swan is played with this xylophone. This instrument is so difficult to play that every time I try, it sounds like a swan. So that suited this soundtrack perfectly. Less than a second before the melody comes in, you can hear a subtle clicking noise. It's so quiet that you cannot hear it unless you know it's there. I made that sound with a camera tripod, and I wanted to have it there because when the Aurora appeared, I had to turn my camera around on the tripod to capture what happened on that part of the sky. The Embrace photo communicates so many feelings. It's mighty and powerful, but at the same time it's tender and vulnerable. Can you feel it? I knew it had to have a soundtrack with a lot of emotion. Beautiful chords and a beautiful melody, although the melody is quite improvised on the guitar. The melody played on the guitar represents the Aurora itself. And speaking of the guitar, both this guitar, it's a very cheap nylon string guitar, and the mandolin, they are manufactured only 30 kilometers from the place where I took the photo. After the guitar melody comes the last part of the soundtrack. It's played on the mandolin and it represents what happened after the Aurora had disappeared. The night was super beautiful, it was never quite dark, and I continued to work with my client photo shoot. The moon slowly moved towards the horizon, which you can hear in the melody and the chords that are going down towards the end. As we were finished, it was already 4:30 a.m. and the sky had got brighter and the sun would rise in an hour or so, which is told by the last piano melody that's going up in the outro. The swans kept shouting and I left the beach and headed home as the daylight broke. So, this musical piece is really a whole concept connected to that night, April the 18th, 2021. And when you see the photo and listen to the music, this soundtrack helps to tell the story of that night. You can also read the story in my web shop. The link is below or above, as usual. And if you buy the deluxe photo, the complete story comes with it. The soundtrack, however, is free for anyone to listen to or to download. It's at the top in my web shop too. Lastly, let me tell you what happens when you have visitors in your home and they see this photo on your wall. First they will say something like, "Oh, what a beautiful picture." And then you will be able to tell the true story about it. And then you can say, "Do you know that this photo even has its own soundtrack? Do you want to hear it?" How cool is that? I'm Ove Lillas, photographer, musician, storyteller, whatever is needed to communicate the beauty of the Nordic landscape.